Welcome back, Crypt Crew! Welcome back to the Crypt in another edition of Dark Reactions. We got a brand new one tonight. Tonight we're here talking Bound by Years' new track, Worth It, which was actually released back in December of 2020 off of their first ever full-length album. This is the video. We're reacting to the video for the track that was released back in December. Off of the album, their first full-length album, What Fate May Bring. Bound by Years has been around since 2014 out of Denver, Colorado. They have released 3 EPs in one full length. Again, What Fate May Bring. Huge shout out to Keith Wampler from The Convalescents and the Legend Recording Agency for sending this one my way to check out. And I always love doing these ones. These are some of my favorites when I'm going in totally blind. I've never heard a song by this band ever. So I'm going in totally fresh. I'm being introduced to something new, and that's always very exciting for me. So thank you, Keith. Huge shout out. Can't wait to see you guys on the road in a couple of weeks. Links to all things Convalescence, Bound by Years, and the Legend Recording Agency in the description below. But without further ado, my friends, let's dive in. I'm very excited for this. Bound by Years, Worth It official music video. Link in the description below. 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. I like that riff. Off the rip, I like the riff a lot. Wake up! Very groove metal. That's new wave American heavy metal. Like, yes. We always divide on the surface. Let me ask you, is it worth it? Is it worth it? To have no purpose and find yourself slipping away. Are we done yet? From being purpose? Or do you like to live your life astray? Queens, I did not see that coming. Singing. Riffing is still good. This is a Lamb of God riff. Stays heavy. Yes. That was kind of like a chill switch. Let me ask you, what's the purpose? Is it worth it? To feel so hopeless is giving up in only way. Will these pieces ever reach us? Or am I just this broken thing? Tell you what, these guys know how to write a fucking riff. That shit is hard. Right there. He's got a good voice, man. He's got solid pipes. He's got a sick Megadeth shirt. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Was it worth it just to walk away? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it just to walk away? Woo! Yes! Give me the solo. Solid. Could have been a couple seconds longer, but solid. Oh shit. I really like how they're giving the bass, like they got a solid, you know what I mean? They're putting a spotlight on the bass, right? It's not really a bass solo, but they're putting a spotlight on it right there. I like that a lot.
This time spent worth it to me. Why stop and start to breathe? It's time spent.
Because even though that was a slower part of the song, utilizing the bass in that way kind of like kept a heaviness to it, a weight to the sound. Woo! Not bad. Dude's got fucking pipes, yo. If you can scream and clean like that, then you got a good range. That, alright, that looks like it. Yo, Bound by Years, track titled Worth It, off their first full-length release back in December, What Fate May Bring. This was the first time ever hearing a single note by this band for me, and I'm impressed. That was... Part of the reason why I'm impressed is because it's not typically the kind of thing I gravitate towards in the sense of cleans and the screams. Typically, I've not cared for that much in the past. Lately, those walls have been coming down in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways due to bands doing it differently and just being a lot better and more talented at it than I've ever heard. This is an example of that. This not in the way they sound, but more in the way the vocals are structured between the cleans and the screaming vocals. The way that's structured up against the music, again, not in the way it sounds, but the way it's structured is reminiscent of Killswitch to me. Lots of the riffs are reminiscent of Lamb of God to me. This is very new wave to me. And again, we use these terms to describe a sound, not to pigeonhole or anything like that. We're just adjectives. Very new wave of American heavy metal to me, early 2000s, but like with a, early 2020s twist, I guess. Like that in the early 2000 to 2008. Some of my favorite heavy metal albums ever were recorded and released during that time. So if that's the sound you're going for, I'm all for it. I think it's one of my favorite sounds, and there's not that much of it around anymore. There's a lot of, we got 10 million subgenres, so that's why when we talk about them in this sort of context, we use them as adjectives, not as you're in this category and that's where you stay. No, those days are done. the days of elitism in metal need to be done. And because we have so many subcategories now and they're all crossing over, we need to just end that shit right now. That's what I'll say about that. Don't know how I got there. Where we started was Bound by Years. Sick track. Sick track. First time I've heard a single note by this band. I am definitely going to go back now. I really want to hear how they got to this sound. This is your first full-length album? This is holy shit. Holy shit. Like, outstanding. Sounds totally like fucking record label produced and all that shit. It sounds fucking top notch, radio quality. Like, it sounds outstanding. So I definitely want to hear those first 3 EPs and the rest of this album, What Fate May Bring. Again, released in December of 2020, available now everywhere. Links in the description below. I really don't know what else to say other than I really, really love the sound. I just like these guys' sound, like Bound by Years' sound. Like it's got elements of a lot of things I love combined into one, but it doesn't feel. It feels very modern. It feels like it was and should have been made right now, not 15, 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds absolutely perfect for the times while still incorporating so many things and sounds that I love already going in. So absolutely fucking impressed. I'm definitely gonna check out the rest of these guys. Again, huge shout out to Keith from the Convalescence, Keith Wampler from the Convalescence and the Legend Recording Agency for sending this one over to me. That's why these are some of my favorite ones to do when I go in totally blind. Like, absolutely have never heard of even the band. You know what I mean? Never heard a note from this. No idea what they do. Going in like that is always a lot of fun for me because it's being introduced to something new. And especially when someone like Keith sends something over to me, and I got a couple other guys that do, like, I pretty much always like everything they send. So it's always like every time they do, I'm like, ooh, I get like, I'm about to have a new, thing to check out. You know what I mean? So it's always exciting, always fun. So huge shout out to Keith Wampler, Convalescence, Legend Recording Agency. Links to all things Convalescence and Legend Recording Agency in the description below, as well as a link to this video and all things Bound by Years, including where you can pick up a copy of the album that this track, Worth It, was featured on, What Fate May Bring, which again was released in December of 2020. These guys deserve your attention. I tell you what, I'm going to dive way deeper, and I'm very excited to do so. That shit was solid. That shit was real solid. I enjoyed that a lot. So, huge shout out to these boys and Bound by Years out there from Denver, Colorado. You guys fucking rule. I'm going to dive way deeper into your catalog, and I'm really excited to do so. So that's going to about do it for this episode of Dark Reactions, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on this. I hope you enjoyed this track as much as I did. Links to everything I talked about in the description below. Be sure to check out all things Bound by Years. And we will be back again, as always, very soon with much, much more. But until then, raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads to Bound by Years. We love you all to death. Good